So the it really started in early 2010. Harley had called me to come in and take a look at Buell when they were running their process to wind down the company. And going into the factory, I instantly saw all this performance and legacy and history and just these beautiful motorcycles that had, a great engine in the 1125 and amazing components and a great team that had built it. And really, that's when I started to fall in love with the brand. They had the AMA 1125 pace bikes, and they had these really cool liveries on them, and they had run them as the pace bikes for the AMA for the season, and they were just gorgeous. It was really a step forward for Buell at that point. But also, there was work that we had been called in to do, so I did the job we were hired for. Years later, when the issues happened with Hero, I was called in again to EBR in East Troy. And I was, I think, the first one that they brought into the building to come take a look at everything. And right away, I saw this was an awesome opportunity. The motor had advanced to the 1190, 185 horsepower. The team had spent a ton of energy and resources and development for all the new superbike components that were on the 1190 RX. And it was really just a great platform of a motorcycle, but at that point it was missing the Buell brand. So I dug in deep. That was actually summer of 2015. Did a lot of work and was starting to look at what a relaunch would look like. It took some time, but ultimately acquired EBR and all the assets and the platform of the 1190 in January of 2016. So that was really exciting. There were challenges in East Troy after Hero. There was a lot of carnage that was really caused by what Hero did. And, obviously I felt deeply for the team and what they had gone through. We relaunched with a very small group and saw that there was a lot of challenges at that point. And the other thing is we didn't have the Buell brand. So a decision was made. It was a tough decision to move everything back to Michigan and see where fate would take us. A lot of patience, a lot of questions of what a relaunch would look like, what the branding would look like, and through some divine intervention, I always say divine intervention, a little bit of grace of God, and some good attorneys. In January of 2019, we saw that we could get the brand back. So the team and our attorneys jumped on it, went to work, got a bunch of filings done, and basically sat and waited. And a couple months later, we got a call from the attorneys, and they said, "Looks like you guys are going to get the Buell brand back. You're the natural successor to the brand because you have Eric Buell Racing, you have the platform, you have the majority of the company, but it's going to take some time before you get it." COVID hit in February of 2020. Our other business was busy working through COVID challenges. The whole world was. And lo and behold, I get a phone call in April that we got the brand back and we got the trademark. It's official. So at that point, started reaching out to people that I knew, started looking at what a leadership team and an advisory board would look like, what a product launch would be, how we would renovate the factory here in Grand Rapids, and had some really good people helping. Also, at that point, started working on the hammerhead design, started working on the super touring design with Joey Ryder, and also reached out to Roland Sands about the high performance race bike designed into a cool classic cruiser style. He was pretty excited about that. And so moving into spring of 21, we got ready to make the official announcement before Daytona. And we made that announcement in February. I think 10, 12 days later, we were in Daytona. We already had a booth ready. And the response was overwhelming. It was really cool. I always remember the first thing that really stuck with me is I had kind of stepped back from the booth. I was looking at the whole event, looking at the Buell booth we had set up, and somebody walks up next to me and he's staring at the bikes that were there. And I looked over at him, and he's got a Harley tattoo on his neck, and he looks at the bike and he goes, "Man, Harley Davidson. They never should have shut Buell down. This is the dumbest mistake they ever made. I'm so glad these guys are back." And he looks over at me and he's like, "Oh, are you with these guys?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm so excited for you guys. This is so awesome." He's like, "You guys are going to crush it." And I was like, "Thank you. Appreciate it. We got a cool thing we're relaunching here." But like, this guy had a Harley tattoo on his neck, right? And he's pumped for us coming back and rising again from the ashes. So, from that point, a lot of what we have done, people know. We spent a lot of time building a team. We were very careful in picking. We say only the coolest people can work for Buell, and that's really the truth. We're really careful in picking cool people that are passionate about what we're doing and do great work for our company and for our customers. And that's really been a huge catalyst in getting us to where we're at now and our success that's really starting to roll, because everybody's passionate to do great quality of work. And then that quality of work, bleeds into the product that we give the customers. So, we've been building out a service network, building out our factory, building out our supply chain. And then the Super Cruiser launch, really, we've talked about it before. I've talked about it before, but it really energized everything that we're doing. The demand that came from the customers that said, "We want a fast, light, great handling, stylish American motorcycle. And we love that Buell is doing it and is going to build this awesome bike for us," really motivated us a lot. In the last 3 years, we've put a ton of investment into the company, into the factory, into our supply chain. We've moved a bunch of suppliers back to America. That's expensive to do. But we felt it was very important to do, to have great quality components, great quality product. And we're building an American cruiser. It should have awesome American components in it. So, now we got past all the testing and approvals and certifications, and building bikes and delivering bikes. So, it's really interesting to hit 10 years. Like 2 years ago, I was looking ahead at the 10-year date, and there's all these like different studies that you see that show like, companies kind of go like this as they're getting going, and somewhere around year 10, they start to really grow. And that's exactly where we're at right now, right at the launch of the Super Cruiser. So we feel very fortunate. We got a great team. We got a lot of great supporters. We got a lot of supporters in Michigan, a lot of supporters around the country. And now we're focused on getting those bikes out, top quality, high performance for the riders to enjoy. The bikes are starting to get customized, and there's going to be a lot of customization happening in the next 6 months. That's going to get people more and more excited. I'm customizing my bike. I got one getting a cool paint job right now, and maybe putting a race pipe on my race bike. So yeah, it's pretty fun. And what's next as we look ahead? Obviously delivering the Super Cruisers as quickly as we can to all the customers. We're very excited about that, and looking to the future of new products. Now that the Cruiser's launched, we can start to shift a little energy to what's next, and we got some cool stuff that we're starting to work on. Building out our service network is pretty cool. We got some cool stuff happening down in Florida, California, East Coast, and the network's getting built pretty wide. We got a lot of dealers that are very interested, and they've got customers that want to get bikes. So we're excited to get product out to the service network and the dealer network this year. And then, continuing to make the Super Cruiser as awesome as possible. As we move ahead, we'll have some accessories and other things that we'll start to have available from the factory. But the aftermarket group is already just dialing in on the bike. So that's going to be available right away. And then future products is going to be fun. So, we keep building our team. We remember we got a really core team that's been here for the last 5 years on this relaunch, working their butts off. And, we'll be very careful with all the new people we pick, make sure they're the coolest and dedicated to having great quality product for the customers. And it's exciting. Buell's back, and now we're out on the road. We're riding, man. We're flying. So thanks, everybody.